Hello Barbados, hello Caribbean. Shortly after Cropover finished, CARIFESTA XIII began, making August 2017 the biggest summer for Caribbean culture in Barbados. CARIFESTA is the region's largest creative arts festival. There was a massive display of music, dance, theater, fashion, creative arts for 10 days or more, when Barbados hosted 20 countries from the Caribbean and Latin America. My colleagues and I explored CARIFESTA XIII. If you missed it, this is your time to catch up. And if you were there, sit back and enjoy the excitement. CARIFESTA was first held in 1972 and then every 2 years in a different CARICOM country. The late president of Guyana, Forbes Burnham, was instrumental in organizing and creating CARIFESTA. He believed in regional integration and providing a platform for the creative arts. CARIFESTA was held for the first time in Barbados in 1981, and then for the second time, 36 years later, in 2017. Music was well received at CARIFESTA XIII. For every night of the festival, there were concerts at the Bay Street Esplanade and the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center. There was kitchen music from the Cayman Islands, chutney from Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, and tuck from Barbados. Different countries gave audience a taste of indigenous and modern Caribbean music.
Kitchen Band!
Hello, I'm Samuel Rose, and I'm the fiddler. I'm one of the founding members of Swanky Kitchen Band, and we play traditional Caymanian music, which is kitchen band music. A lot of people don't realize that Cayman actually has its own indigenous music form. We're out in the Northwest Caribbean, kind of isolated from the Eastern Caribbean, which is heavily influenced by Calypso. So for some reason, we had it on every island and every district in those islands with multiple fiddlers. For some reason, the fiddle was the choice instrument or the instrument of choice for our musicians. And so our fiddle music, we think, comes from our Irish and Scottish, Celtic type of ancestry, But then the rhythm is undeniably African, so that obviously connects us back to the Caribbean.
Kitchen band music. It's a traditional music of the Cayman Islands. Our grandfathers and his father and his grandfather, they all played it. It basically came out of the kitchens of the Cayman Islands. There were lots of fiddlers on the island, and that was basically the main instrument in Cayman at the time. A lot of people couldn't afford other instruments, so they would have the fiddle as the centerpiece of the music, but then they would use kitchen utensils like a grater, or pot and a spoon, and so forth to make the percussion sounds. And of course, they'd have like a little goatskin drum or something to do the drumming. And it's just a mixture of all of our influences, because with the Cayman Islands being isolated where they were back in the days, we only picked up stations mainly from like Texas And we have a lot of Celtic roots because a lot of our settlers were from Scotland and Ireland, and then of course with the slave trade back in the day, the Africans were there, and so it was a merging and fusion of all of these cultures and background that has contributed to what is Cayman Islands music, kitchen band music.
We have 5 age group into the band. I happen to be one of the oldest of the 5. Nonetheless, we all come together and we do what we're supposed to do, and we're just keeping our culture alive, our heritage. We are the only swanky kitchen band that on the island that is maintaining our heritage and our culture. And that is a task, that can be a task, having many obstacles in forms of another, but nonetheless we're driving through, and we aim to pass it on to the younger generation.
My dad, he was born in Barbados. He's a Gooding. So yes, this is my first time in Barbados, and I got a chance to meet all of my aunts, uncles, and cousins. And what I'll be taking away is firstly, the hospitality that you guys have provided to us. It has been excellent. And secondly, the feedback that we've gotten from the Bajan people, my people, halfly, my people, and thirdly, the culture. It's amazing.
The Swanky Kitchen Band believes representing their country at CARIFESTA was beneficial.
It's been a fantastic opportunity for us to share the stage this week with 2 Mile Hill, with Nicholas Branker, with the group from Madeira from Venezuela, some fantastic musicians and groups, and we get to talk to one another and interact. And music is a small community. We have people like John Rowett here, who is a friend of members of the band and stuff, so it's always a great opportunity to have fellowship, to learn from other artists. But I think we've been able to make some good connections and share the word and spread the word that Cayman has its own music as well.
Barbados also took to the regional stage to show off its music. Senior Information Officer Kathy Lashley was there to catch all the action at CARIFESTA XIII.
And it was country night at the Lloyd Erskine Sanford Center, with patrons being treated to a potpourri of music representing all genres from Barbados, St. Lucia, and Haiti.
TUC is one of those entities that came about by necessity many years ago when the slaves were banned from using their African drums on the plantations. And they had to survive on weekends and so on by being able to transfer their African rhythms into a beat which eventually was called TUC, where they mixed the marching band rhythms of the Europeans with the African high life rhythms. In those times, the drums were made of indigenous materials but made to look like and sound like the military marching band drums. Through the years, it started out with singing, and I suppose that would have been the beginning of maybe folk music and calypso music. And from the singing, we found that a melodic instrument came into play, which would have been the fiddle or violin. And over the years, that went out, and we now have the pen whistle, which we've been hearing from time to time. So the band in itself is the penny whistle, the kettle drum, and the bass drum, and you usually add some percussion like a triangle or some shakes or a cowbell. And that entity is called a TUC band.
Chutney music featured prominently during CARIFESTA XIII. Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago showed off how East Indian and West Indian culture merged to create a new style of Caribbean music.
Whoa! Let me tell you about my country. We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. Me say pack up your grip and let me go. You have to come back to Guyana some more. I said to pack up your grip and let me go. You have to come back to Guyana some. Whoa, Bangali Babu, whoa, Guyana Babu, whoa, Bangali Babu, whoa, Guyana Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. You are the very best of the Guyanese Babu.
देश मेरा रंगीला देश मेरा रंगीला देश मेरा रंगीला. My name is Nival Chetlal and you are watching GIS Barbados. Stay tuned.
Fresh off the stage with a dynamic performance representing Trinidad and Tobago, tell Barbadians who you are.
Hello Barbados, my name is Nival Chetlal and I am from the red, white and black Trinidad and Tobago.
And you sang a particular genre of music. Could you tell us what that genre was?
Okay, it was a mixture of Indian classical music, soca, and the vibe that we call in Trinidad chutney. Chutney music is like a conglomeration of African and Indian beats put together in a most harmonious way that creates a very, very amazing appeal that goes straight to your waistline, and some of them go straight to your wrist, right, and the shoulders, and it just tends to move you in such a way that no other music can.
So chutney and chutney soca, they're not two different things, it's one and the same?
That's right. In fact, soca, soul of calypso, was created using Indian rhythms. Ras Shorty Ai was the pioneer of soca music, and he took our Indian dholak drum din tanak din din tanak din din tanak din and melded it together with African beats and came up with chat 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 chat, and that was the birth of soca. The father of soca, Ras Shorty Ai, much tribute. His sons and daughters continue his legacy, and of course we have Marshall Montano and Bunji Garlin carrying it even further with their new blends of EDM and coming up with a totally new type of music called Caribbean dance music. Soca to the world.
Have you been able to make any exchanges or linkages with persons from other islands?
I did not have that opportunity, but in an official capacity. But while at the Trinidad and Tobago booth, I happened to share musical experience with the people of Haiti. I was actually singing Vivir Mi Vida. I was doing Spanish repertoire, and the Haitian delegates were passing by, and they came and they jammed some music with me, and they started to solo, and the communication was all on the level of music. So I would say that was my special experience in CARIFESTA XIII on Barbadian soil.
CARIFESTA XIII, Barbados.
Arts and craft were widely showcased at CARIFESTA XIII, and Information Officer Shayla Murrell was on the scene to capture every artistic stroke.
Look at this absolutely stunning scenery, the perfect location for one of the many events for CARIFESTA en plein air. So Rodney, you said that this is the first time that CARIFESTA is actually having en plein air, and it's happening in Barbados. That's a big deal, isn't it?
For me, it's a big deal because in terms of working overseas, what I would have experienced, in my experience that is, I would have experienced in 2008 CARIFESTA in Guyana, in 2013 in Suriname, and 2015 in Haiti. And now we are here. I'm so happy to be here in Barbados experiencing our own CARIFESTA, because you would imagine when CARIFESTA 81 was first held in Barbados, we were little teeny tots growing up. So I heard stories told by my mom of her experience of CARIFESTA, but obviously too small to remember member, but now actually big enough now to be a part of the experience and make a contribution. So I would say that in my knowledge, in terms of working in the ground market and other activities, there were exhibitions indeed, traditional exhibitions, etc., other artistic activities, but to my mind it was great to introduce our National Cultural Foundation on plein air or painting in the outdoors workshop and some of our participants here to the CARIFESTA exercise and be part of it.
We are painting on plein air. That means that we are painting in the outdoors. And painting on plein air is different from painting in the studio because you are seeing more of the true nature, true appearance of nature. Out here we can see the colors in their natural state. We can see the right perspectives of the scenery, and we can represent the shadows, which are very important in painting as well, right? Along with the highlights, and you can see the different tones in the scenery in particular.
I get the impression that what happens is that the artists would recreate what they are seeing. Is that so? You give me a better explanation.
Yes, well, I can't be as good as you. I mean, that's just as fine as I would probably render it or say it to persons. But the thing is, it is a multi-layered process indeed. It not only trains artists in terms of developing their skills of observation, their speed, also their use of colors and understanding their palettes, and in terms of understanding color theory, in terms of capturing quickly moving light as you paint outside, but it also records culture. It also brings art to people, because my inspiration, and God rest his soul, was seeing Mr. Fielding Bob and Mr. Adrian Compton come in the community in St. Lucie where I live, and my mother always encouraged me to, go and watch the artists. Plein air in itself is one of the quickest, largest growing trends in the world in terms of sales and in terms of artists in Europe and North America exploring this enterprise, and we're feeding into that energy here in Barbados.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here.
Today we're painting the scenery here at Chalky Mount, so I'm actually doing this valley over here to my left, and I'm actually putting in, I've placed my thirds already, my sky, my sea, and my land, which is the thirds. That's a part of art, and I've blocked in my simple colors. I'm now detailing the actual artwork.
We have something in painting called the rule of thirds, which usually when you line up the painting and you put it, and where the 4 points would meet, that's where the focal point would be, and that's what would really capture the view of anyone looking at the painting.
Do you have any particular plans for this piece of work? Are you going to keep it, sell it, give it away?
Actually, no, I won't keep it. I will probably take it into the gallery at the Barbados Arts Council and put it in there, because I'm a member of the Barbados Arts Council, and every month they would usually, about every 3 weeks, they would have a different show, and the next show we're having is called the Little Gems, so this one will fit nicely in that show.
Now, the interesting thing about you, Marcia, is that you told me that you lived in New York for some time, where you were a nurse, and now you're retired and you're back home. Why come back home?
Because my heart is always at home, and my home is Barbados, and that's why I'm back here. I've done my time. I lived in New York almost 40 years. So it's time for me to come back home.
All right, so this is what you're going to be spending a lot of your time doing when you're back home, trying to improve your skills in art, right?
Not only improve my skills in art, but also learn my country, because with plein air, it entitled us to go around the country, different venues, different places, and you learn. Right now we're in Chalky Mount, which was hard for me to find, but I caught the bus, came all up here this morning by myself.
There were many art exhibitions held during CARIFESTA, some private and others held by the event organizers. We checked out a private exhibition curated by Onika Small of Artists Alliance.
Tell me
about the home exhibition which is taking place at Norman Center.
Okay, so home is themed to welcome all our visitors to our home. We have all the areas of a Barbadian home stage. So we have our veranda, our living room, kitchen, dining room, backyard, bathroom, and our home is full of art. So we're trying to convey that idea to people to invest in Barbadian art and to put it in their homes, and you can invest in anything and have anything in your home. We have 55 artists participating, over 200 pieces, and only 2 aren't from Barbados. So our goal in Artists Alliance Barbados is to encourage all ages and stages of development. Our youngest artist is 19 and our eldest artist is 85.
So this show is being held at a very important time in our calendar. Tell me what that time is and why you stage it during that time.
Right, so for us, we call it the August pop-up. And we're here for the whole month of August because we wanted to welcome visitors who were here for Crop Over. We're definitely welcoming the visitors who are here for CARIFESTA. And then we also have another viewers that we're saying are the back to school audience. We had the Crop Over crowd. We've had a lot of visitors from CARIFESTA. And every day we get mothers and fathers and children coming in that are doing back to school shopping, and they see the art and they stop in to have a look.
Now, CARIFESTA is the Caribbean's biggest arts festival.
Correct.
How do you as a curator and artist feel about such an activity happening here in Barbados?
From the visual arts perspective, we've never had so much visual arts on show in Barbados at any one point in time. The galleries have come on board and they've opened up Barbados Arts Council. We have 2 exhibitions in Norman Center. We have a master's exhibition that spans 3 locations. Community College, Morningside was full of art. We've had sharing amongst the artists. There was one artist, Winslow Craig, who came in and he's done a workshop with us. So we've seen new techniques. So it's just been, to me, wonderful. CARIFESTA 13 Barbados has been very uplifting.
You came out to view the home exhibition. Tell me what brought you out to look at the art.
Oh, art. That's me. I'm a graphic designer by trade, but if I could make a living at fine art, I would. That has always been my first love, drawing. So, the opportunity for something like CARIFESTA, the opportunity to see artwork from all over the region, and some of my favorite Barbadian artists, wow, I could not resist.
Honestly, I came here looking for shoes, right? But I saw Fidel Castro stand over there. I was like, whoa. And then, it drew me in, all the colors. Because I didn't know that, these are Barbadian artists. This is stunning, especially this sculpture here. Personally, my favorite is the snake plants over there. How they use the colors is phenomenal, and honestly, it was very inspiring, not gonna lie. There's this shutter is a kind of Basquiat sort of thing. I really like that. I've never seen anything in that style in person. So seeing art in person is different. To just see it on my phone or whatever. I'm not in the Barbadian art world like that. So this is a eye-opener for me.
What are your thoughts on the exhibitions?
They are fabulous. The talent that we have here in the Caribbean is often missed, and occasions like these bring it home to you. I would travel and I would purchase pieces from different places, and to be truthful, sometimes the quality is nowhere near as high as what I'm seeing here. So I am very pleased that I am, 1, in a position to see them all displayed, and 2, in a position where I can actually purchase some pieces, and I am doing that as I go along.
Dance was also very popular at CARIFESTA 13. A signal event was held to showcase contemporary concepts of Caribbean identity and regional professional excellence in dance. tell me, what is the dance about that Cuba is presenting on stage tonight?
Well, the dance are the rumba, the cha-cha-cha, the mambo. There are some rhythms from Cuba, but in a contemporary way. We take some element from the dance, traditional dance, at the same time some element from the contemporary dance, all mixes.
You are a dancer. What does it mean for you to be able to perform at CARIFESTA XIII here in Barbados?
Yes, it's one opportunity for me for other different states and other different dancers, the Caribbean, and Haiti, Jamaica, and from Barbados, very good dancer, and I am very happy.
CARIFESTA brings together, the region, so we can see the culture of different countries, and I just feel like it's one of the greatest things we have in the Caribbean. A festival that brings us together on such a platform, and it's what keeps us together, really, the culture, because without the dance and the music and the arts and craft, we're nothing. You understand? I mean, yes, we have the sports and we have all these fancy things, but the culture is what really keeps us together, and it's been keeping us together since slavery, and I just feel like we need to continue to embrace it and show it and integrate.
Performed at CARIFESTA XIII, and CARIFESTA is obviously, as you know, the region's biggest festival for creative arts. What does that mean for you as dancers, having taken to the stage?
Well, first of all, we get to perform with all these awesome groups from these different countries. We talk about Guadeloupe, Martinique, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Barbados.
We've seen amazing work, actually.
And these are really talented people, not just as dancers. We see some really, really strong choreography and really, really good technique and interpretation of movement. And as contemporary dancers, it's always good to get that exposure and to see what the other countries in the Caribbean have to offer.
Okay, I'm glad you spoke about the other islands, because one of the features of CARIFESTA is that you get to exchange your culture with persons from other countries. Have you been able to do that so far?
I'll be really honest, not as much as I would like, but then I want plenty in life, so that may be just me. But it is great to be able to take workshops with choreographers that we wouldn't otherwise get to work with, and then be in that workshop with dancers we would otherwise never get to dance with. It's been really wonderful in that regard,
Actually, for me, CARIFESTA was a reunion. I spent one semester at UA in Mona, so I was able to reconnect with some Jamaicans, some Bajans, some Grenadians. So CARIFESTA has really fostered an opportunity not just to connect, but to reconnect, and for also each Caribbean island to share a different perspective on what dance is and where they were inspired to do their choreography, where they were inspired to give their story. So I found that this was an excellent forum for all of us just to share our perspective on dance, share our hearts on dance, as well as to connect and make dance stronger within the Caribbean.
Well, that's it for now. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of CARIFESTA XIII. Join us again soon for another review of CARIFESTA. Until next time, bye-bye.